Hey, this is Matt once again. What about to the video? There's another paid request, this time for Gia. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, topics, reactions, commentaries, reviews, re-reviews, what have you, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Now, he didn't want me to do a full review. He even said this, that he didn't want a full review. He just wanted thoughts on X-Men 3 The Last Stand. What are your thoughts on it? Is there stuff you like about it? So, again, he didn't want a full review, so okay. I did do that. X-Men 3, the X-Men films I've never been big on compared to other superhero movies. I'm more into Superman the movie, Superman 2, Blade, Superman 3 even, Blade 2, The Punisher with Thomas Jane, The Punisher with Dolph Lundgren, even like the Captain America trilogy, the first Iron Man. There's a lot of other... The first X-Men is there, the second one is the best. The third one, I never hated it. Yeah, maybe because I wasn't that fully invested in the franchise. Maybe because I watched the X-Men cartoon. I remember liking that. I can't say I read a whole lot of the comics. I read a handful. But I know that was one directed by Brett Ratner, while the first two were directed by Bryan Singer. Bryan Singer at this time was doing Superman Returns. That's why he did not do X-Men 3. And I know they had a lot of directors up for this movie. They had they asked a lot of people. They asked Guillermo del Toro. They asked... I'm trying to remember all the names they asked. At one point Matthew Vaughn was going to do it, but then he stepped away. Now, there's stuff... I always liked the film, I'll be honest. I never hated it like other people did. I liked Hugh Jackman in the film. I liked that they featured the Danger Room. I like the action set pieces. There's a bit with Wolverine in the woods, just going around battling all these mutants, where he's like blocking stuff and slashing left and right and wrecking house. I like Kelsey Grammer as Beast. I thought Kelsey Grammer did a really good job, and I actually did not mind the look of Beast. I definitely prefer him in this compared to what they did in X-Men Days of... no, what was it? First Class. X-Men First Class and stuff. I liked Famke Janssen as Jean Grey. I liked... it seemed like it had a bit of a faster pace to it. It definitely felt like it went quickly. And was definitely felt more like... I don't know if I want to say felt more like an action movie, but it just felt there's just more stuff happening. I'd rather goes to the bad side where there's just too much stuff trying to slam into one movie. Because, spoiler, I mean, you're trying to slam into, here's the death of Cyclops, and that was only because James Marsden was doing Superman Returns with Bryan Singer. And the death of Cyclops had no real weight to it, had really no emotional punch to it, which is crazy because Cyclops is, you know, one of the X-Men. You think of Cyclops, you know, that's one of the teams you think of X-Men, and he dies, there's like no impact. It almost becomes like an afterthought. And then they had to kill off Xavier, which I mean, I think there's other ways you could have done it. Where if you want to kill James Marsden off as Cyclops, just have one death. One death was all you need. having that and Xavier was a bit too much. Vinnie Jones is the Juggernaut. I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. Because of a damn meme on the internet. I thought that was really cringeworthy. And then they're trying to force this whole thing. There's a cure, and there's mutants that want the cure, but then Magneto gets his group together, and they're going to do a fight, and there's a point where he takes the Golden Gate Bridge and moves it. Big set piece of that. So you have our X-Men fighting these mutants, but at the same time, then you got Jean Grey coming back with this personality that she hid deep within, who's the Phoenix. So, not following the comics, I know that. Or rather, I would rather watch this though 10 times over the other Phoenix movie they did years and years later, because that was abysmal. I mean, that's another thing, is that I'm thinking of that movie, Dark Phoenix, and this film just comes up much more smelling like roses. And I remember Wolverine feeling like a badass in it. And I know some people didn't like his portrayal because he becomes like a leader and type of guy at the end, and I don't know, I guess it didn't bother me. I kind of gathered they were trying to show a bit of growth to the character, that he had to step up and help make these characters have their last stand. So you have like him and Beast and others stand there while all these mutants come in and they're fucking up mutants left and right. That was kind of fun to have that big old action sequence there. Had the X-Men, kick some ass. That was pretty fun. I even didn't mind the bit where Wolverine is, he keeps disappearing, but then his accelerated healing's healing back as getting closer to Jean Grey. Then there's a moment where she tells him to stab her, and he does. I thought Hugh Jackman gave a good performance in that sequence. It does feel like these are two stories that could have been their own separate movies, though. Like, Dark Phoenix felt like it could have just been its own movie, and then the whole Turing mutant thing could have been its own movie. But it's like they try to force it all into one film. I thought, you don't have time to breathe. You don't have room to breathe for the characters. Like I said, Cyclops' death comes, and it's like almost barely an afterthought. There's not like moments. I don't remember moments of Jean Grey being deeply in shock and in horror that she killed off Cyclops' character. And they still haven't done Cyclops right in a movie to this day. Even with the newer films, they still have not done a good Cyclops. And that's not James Marsden's fault. It's just, Wolverine, I can understand, is the cooler character. And again, Juggernaut, I don't know if it's just I didn't care for the cast of Vinnie Jones or just the way the character's written. I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. Whatever, shut up with your bitch ass. And like I said, I mean, Gia didn't want a full review, he just wanted some quick thoughts, and I guess those are my quick thoughts. I do like the film, I don't hate the film. I would watch it over the first X-Men. I thought X-Men 3 just felt a bit more fun, a bit more faster paced, a bit more action, fight heavy. Although it does have its flaws. X-Men 2 is still the best of the three. And I'm not a fan of much of the X-Men films after that. Apocalypse, Dark Phoenix, First Class. Not really a fan of them. So, I guess in a weird way, by default, it's one of my favorite X-Men movies, The Last Stand. But yeah, maybe it kind of made sense where, because I'm not a die-hard, dyed-in-the-wool X-Men comic expert, that maybe this is something that more casual people would get into. Maybe that's why. But like I said, they did try to force a lot of stuff. I mean, not just the death of this, the death of that character, mutant tier. It's just too many things. Mystique with Magneto and what happens with that, and Angel, that character, like all this stuff trying to force in. And it's not a long film, it's like an hour and 40 some minutes, from what I remember. So, again, try to do too much into one movie. But when it came out, it did make money. But it's kind of looked at as the lesser of all the X-Men films. But yeah, I would rather take that than a lot of the new stuff that would come out after this, X-Men wise. So, I still have fun with it. I still think it's entertaining. But with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. That was just my quick thoughts on it. And we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.